Hi there. I'm Colleen Adrian, and I want to tell you today how I came to be teaching this course, How to Help Your Child Calm and Regulate, after feeling like I was failing as a parent, and then discovering new information and strategies that really turned that around. So, when I first found out that I was going to be a mom, I was totally over the moon. I'd always wanted to be a mom. And I knew I was going to be doing everything I possibly could to be the best mom I was capable of. So I started by doing the same thing I'd always done to learn something new, and that was reading books. And I eventually came across the books and information on attachment parenting. And I thought, this is it. This is exactly what I want to do. I really wanted to have a strong connection with my kids. I wanted them to come to me, if they were struggling with something. And I really didn't want to have to use threats or punishments. So, fast forward a little bit to having my son, and the first couple of years went quite predictably, other than sleep issues, but that's a whole other story. Things were up and down, but, pretty okay. And then by the time he was 3 or so, I was struggling. He was having angry outbursts at times, and honestly, I couldn't believe my sweet, sensitive son in one of these angry outbursts if he would do something like threaten to, break my favorite vase or try to break it, go running towards it. It totally wasn't like him, and I was stuck for what to do about it. There didn't seem to be anything I could do to stop it. And I read Hold On to Your Kids around that time by Gabor Mate and Gordon Neufeld, if you know of that book. And it came out around the time my son was 3 or 4. So it was perfect. And I was like, yeah, this is it. And it doesn't seem like it mattered how many times I reread that book or the other books. I still, in those moments when I was really struggling or I'd each reached the end of my rope, it didn't seem like anything could help, right? I couldn't get cooperation and I couldn't figure out how to get past it without using threats or punishment or strategies that I really didn't want to use. And I remember an evening when I was trying to get him into bed, and it was one of those nights where I was really tired, the type of day. It's been a long day. You know that you need a break yourself, but you between dinner hour and what have you, you haven't been able to quite get the break you need. And after several attempts, when he wouldn't cooperate with, taking the next step towards getting into bed, I think it might have been getting into the tub, um, I I snapped. And he looked crushed, and I was devastated, right? And I felt that shame that you feel when you've lost your patience and you realize, like, this totally isn't how I want to parent, and this totally isn't how I want to make my child feel, right? And in hindsight, with some compassion for myself, I really know now, looking back, that I was exhausted. I'd reached my limit. I hadn't had enough time or breaks to really meet my own basic needs the way I needed to. And, I think in hindsight that his bedtime and his settling and going to sleep was kind of like the light at the end of my tunnel, right? At the end of a long day. So I understood why I snapped, but it didn't make me feel any better. I felt like a failure. And my worst fear was that I would do irreparable damage, which is the last thing I wanted to do. So, not knowing what else to do, I kept reading more and I kept trying harder. And being a recovering perfectionist, probably that's a lifetime journey for me. I also continued comparing myself to other parents and feeling bad about it from time to time when I lose my patience. And it wasn't until my son was around 13 or so that I learned about nervous system regulation. And when I learned about nervous system regulation, I had a total light bulb moment, and I realized this is the missing piece. This is what I've been missing. This is what I've been looking for. It was a pivotal point in my parenting journey because understanding a little bit of the science behind why I couldn't do better and why my son couldn't do better either in those moments really helped me let go of the shame of not being able to parent the way that I wanted to. And I got why he couldn't do better, right? Until I learned more about how to regulate. And certainly the fact that we're both super sensitive intensified our situation and our relationship. So, so I felt hopeful. There was something I could do about it. And learning the science, I can tell you now in hindsight, looking back, that learning the science and a few practices for regulating both my nervous system and my son's was the first step on my journey to finally changing things. I learned what I needed to do differently in my self-care and how I could be different in my relationship with my son and support him to regulate. And even though I didn't learn this until my son was 13, it has still made a huge difference. It's enabled me to connect with him. It's enabled me to have conversations with him in which he hears me and I hear him, even through even through his teen years. And that doesn't mean that all of the conversations have been easy or that he always hears me, but he hears me sometimes, and we're always able to repair. It's been good. And now that I've taught this course to parents of toddlers and teenagers, I know that no matter what age you start, it's possible to make change. So the knowledge started me on a healing journey that improved my health and deepened all of my relationships, including my relationship with my son, my relationship with my husband, and my friends and community. So that's what I share with you in this course, how to help your child calm and regulate. I share the basic foundational information about the science and the information that really helped me turn the corner. I share lots of experiential and reflection strategies to help you gain insights and make it really personalized for yourself. And I also share lots of practical strategies to help you get started on your journey. So I hope you'll join us. I'd love to see you there.